Hello everyone. I have a new little creation to share today. I think this one is just so precious and so easy. I think you can add as little or as much to this design as you want. And once I started kind of creating the bunnies, I just had so much fun doing different colors and adding different stuff to them. So I can't wait to share this one with y'all. So these are the 4 little bunny tags that I made. I'll show them to you. This one is a purple one. And these have watercolored bunnies in them. And this is a little mint green. Y'all know I love mint greens and pinks. And this has bunnies in it that are, I just use pattern paper instead of watercoloring them. So that's this one. And they have the little buttons and a little tag that says free bunnies because I don't know, spring, I live in the South, and spring always makes me think of farmers markets and all that fun stuff. So this is another one I did, and this one has brown bunnies in it, and I used different colored brown papers to do this one. And then y'all look at this little tag. It has a teeny tiny bunny, and it says free bunnies on it. And this is where I just cut the letters out of an old book page to do the letters for free. And I did a little lace behind it and a little carrot. And then I just think this one is so shabby chic looking. It has the little striped basket that says Farmers Market and free bunnies, a couple of little flowers, and just some vintage laces on it. And these would be so cute, y'all, tied in a gift bag, or these are actually big enough if you wanted to write a little message on the back of these and just use these as a card to send to someone as like a note card. I think that would be a perfect idea too. So those are the creations today. Let's move these over and I will show y'all what I used. Does not have a lot of pieces to it, which y'all know I love. So the first thing, let me show y'all this, is the die cut for the basket. And it is from Honeybee Stamps. It's a picnic basket. And I will put the number for this one in the description of the video. But this will give you the basket. And if y'all have ever bought dies from Honeybee Stamps, they send you these wonderful glossy cards that really take you step by step through on how to create these. So I always find that wonderful, especially when you're doing a die that has multiple layers to it. So the basket came from Honeybee Stamps, and I'll show y'all a couple of those that I have cut. So it has a back and then the top and the handles. So it's a very easy die to assemble. And then that one's just done out of pattern paper. And I did a couple out of white, like watercolor or mixed media paper. And the purple one, let's see. And this one that's the brown. And this one that's the blue. I used the watercolor paper and just inked them myself to get to the colors. And so I'll show y'all what I used. This is the same combination that I used to do the gingerbread men. This was a combination of Distress ink in Vintage Photo and Distress ink in tea dye to do this brown one. Then let's see, the blue one is the Distress ink Speckled Egg. We'll give you that blue. And then the purple one is Distress ink Shaded Lilac, which gives you a really soft pale purple color. So those are the color inks that I used to do those. And let's see. The next thing was a stamp set also by Honeybee, and it's Extra Special HBST 487, and I used this stamp that came in that says Farmers Market, and I just stamped it in the center of the basket. And y'all, I love Honeybee stamps. I love their dies, but I love their stamps too. They stamp so clear. They just give you the most crystal clear image, very easy to work with all your inks. So if you've never gotten anything from Honeybee, don't hesitate. Their stuff is really, really good. So those are the two main things for the basket. Then for the bunny, I use this stamp set, which is by Impression Obsession, and it is Alesa Baker. It is CL1002 Sock Bunny. And y'all, even though Impression Obsession has closed, if you go to some of the websites, I think Craft Stitch 123, maybe Frantic Stamper, they still have a great selection of the Impression Obsession stamps and dies if you're looking for anything. So I used the tiny bunny from this stamp set to do all the bunnies in the basket. And then I used this, which is a stamp set from Park Lane that just has a bunch of, like old passages from books in it. And I didn't use it on the purple one, but you can see I used it on this one up here behind and underneath, just to kind of add a little bit of interest to some of the tags. It's there and there. And of course the Park Lane stuff is Joann fabric. So I don't know how many of y'all still have stores that y'all can go in and see. This is something that I bought, I don't know, maybe a month or two ago. So you should still be able to find this in some of your stores. So that is the stamps and the dies that I used to make this. The other for the hearts that you'll see on all of them, it's just an old school heart punch from All Night Media. Y'all, and this thing is probably 30 years old. It is so old, but it is just a workhorse. So I use this all the time. So I used that. And for the tiny hearts, I just used a handheld heart punch. So those are those. The other two things I use from Lily of the Valley, the Christmas Sentiment tag set comes with this little blank tag in it. So I used that. And this one, which is the Christmas Images, comes with a little bow tag. And so I used it, and I'll show you those two. That is those two that I used. And these are just ones I use all the time. So you can stamp and make your own design in the middle or words or whatever you want to do. So like on this one, I stamped it on some flower paper and cut out the letters from a book page and did a little bunny on it. And actually, I think this is an old Hero Art stamp. It's probably 30 years old too. It's a little teeny tiny old wood bunny stamp. So I used that. And then the little bow is the bow from the tag, and I just cut it out so y'all can see. And that one I just freehanded where it says Free Bunnies. And this one also the little bow with the Free Bunnies. So those were the only products used as far as stamps and dies for this. And as always, just use this as ideas. Go into your stash and use whatever you have. So I wanted to show you a couple of other little things. These are the scallop tag dies that I used. And it is from a company called, I think it's Creative, let me see y'all, with this Creative Craft Products. And it is D10B1376. And I ordered these from Craft Stash, and I will put the information of this on the video too. But those are the scallop tags that I used, and that set's great. It comes with several different sizes, and I think they're so dainty with the scallops. So I did want to mention that. So let's see, y'all. That is what it looks like cut, the larger tag. And then I just put a basket on. And at this point, if you wanted to do some of your word stamps, do that before you put your basket on, so you have a stamped background to glue to. Before I did my basket, y'all, this was the fun part to me. I had sat and just stamped the bunny on a bunch of pattern paper and just cut them out because it's such a quick little cut for the bunny. And let's see, I'll show y'all. Just mix and match your colors all together. I think that's what's so fun about these. And I just set and cut them out of these are all out of patterned paper. And then just play with deciding what colors you want to mix together in your basket. And the one thing that I did different for this bunny, I wanted their little arms to come over the top of the basket. So all I did was I just cut a little slit up inside each one of the arms so I could slide them over. I'll show y'all on this one. I just kind of came around this part of the little bunny paw and just cut up just a little ways on each side so y'all can slide it over the basket. And then I'll show y'all. This lets you just pop this up and over. So it looks like the little bunny's peeking out of the basket. And I did that with this one too. Okay. And the little bow for this bunny is again the little bow from the Lily of the Valley tag, and I just cut it out. I just think that's such a perfect size little bow. I use it all the time for all kinds of stuff. So after you get your bunnies in, you will glue this to the back of your basket die, and then you have your basket. Okay, so that's for the bunnies that I stamped with the pattern paper, and I did want to show y'all some of the bunnies I did watercolor, and I just stamped these on just some mixed media paper, which isn't quite as thick as watercolor paper because I didn't want them to be bulky in the basket. But like this one and this one, I just lightly watercolored those bunnies. And I will show y'all, and I want to show y'all a little trick, okay? So let me get my little watercolor palette and a brush. And I just use markers, the Marvy watercolor markers. And I just put a little bit on my little plastic palette and get a little bit of water, put it on. And then I just very so lightly went around and just faintly watercolored it because I wanted it to almost look like the bunnies were white, but just a little dingy. But you could do brown, you could do pastels, whatever you wanted to do. But that's how I watercolored these, okay? We'll get a little more ink on here and show y'all. And I just kind of went around the eye because I wanted his eye to be whiter around the brown. And then just do like a little bit of the edge of the ears. Put a little color. Get a little more on there. Dip my brush again. And do the paws. And you really don't have to do the bottom part of the bunny because it doesn't show in the basket. So you can do just a little bit below the paws, and that should be enough. Okay, so I also used Tombow Marker 800. This is what I love for cheeks. I always think this light pink makes a really, really pretty cheek color. And so just go back over and add in your little pink cheeks. Or if you want a darker cheek, you can use a little darker pink marker. but just add some pink in. Just do a little round. Okay, so for the eyes, I stamped this in brown, and I'm going to show y'all what I used because I did want to mention this. If you are watercoloring, make sure you use an ink pad that will not run on you. And so y'all know this is my go-to for stamping. It's the VersaFine, and it's Pinecone. It's a brown, but you can watercolor over that, and it won't run or smear on you. But I did take a brown marker and kind of darken the eyes just a little bit. That way they would pop off just a little bit from just the stamped image. And then I used a white jelly roll to do a little white dot at the top of his eyes, or her eyes. And then a little soft pink marker for the mouth and the nose. And right up here on the ears, just a smidgy. Okay, now the other thing that I like to do, if I'm wanting something to look soft and kind of furry and fuzzy, I like to use a colored pencil. And because I stamped this in brown, I'm going to use, and this is just nothing special, just a brown colored pencil. Go around the very edge of your bunny and pretend like you're doing a little row of soft fur right around the edges. And that has, what that does is it kind of softens the line of the stamped image, but it also gives you the kind of the optical illusion that your bunny is furry, even though it's a one-dimensional stamped image. So if you see, you just barely go around really lightly. And I think a dull pencil is good for this, not a really, really sharp one. And just kind of go around your little bunny. And you see how that makes the face pop out more, and even the watercolor, it kind of gives it a little more definition. But just kind of following along the line of your stamped image. And just doing a little, like you're doing a little zigzaggy fuzz around it. So that's that. Look how cute that is, y'all, and super fast to do. That does not take any time. So that's how I got the bunnies. So I wanted to mention that. The only other thing that I would also mention is if you are cutting your bunnies out of patterned paper, for those, I did not watercolor the cheeks. I used, let's see, I'll show you on this one. I just used a pink or a peachy colored colored pencil to do the cheeks on these, because the watercolor is not really going to take to the pattern paper well and give you a smooth, soft image. So just use a colored pencil on your pattern paper to do the cheeks. And it also just looks much softer. And this is a praying peach color. And then if you want, Prismacolor makes these blendable colored pencils. You can go back over the top of it really lightly, and it smooths out any of your colored pencil lines. So that's how I did the cheeks on all of these. And even the cheeks on these browns, because these were cut out of colored paper. So I wanted to mention that. Let's see, y'all, what else? I like projects like this because it gives you an excuse to use all the little different embellishments you collect if you're like me, laces and flowers and just all kinds of trims. So on this one, I just used some little blue flowers that I had in my stash. I used some of this linen. It's like a fabric, but I guess it is linen. It's a Tim Holtz product, and it's self-adhesive. I just cut 2 little patches of fabric to go on this one. And I did use an old bunny stamp for the carrots, y'all. And I just stamped them on some pattern paper. Let's see. It's this old carrot. And I just think it's so sweet. It is from, I think it's Great Impressions. This one is not marked. But for some reason, I think this may be a Great Impressions. But I'm not 100% sure on that. But it's just an old carrot wood block stamp. So I did use that on this one. And then I keep these two. I got these at Target. I think this one a couple of years ago. But it's supposed to be like a book. And I just keep all of my ribbon stuff down in it that I use. And then I have one that's full of lace. And so I just go through and I cut out different pieces of laces and ribbon trims to add to the tags. And so like on this one, I used a little bit of lace to go to line the inside of the basket. So you would put it right here before you glue your bunnies in. And y'all, let's see. I think that's it. That is, I used the tag die, the basket die, and the stamp for the bunny and farmer's market. And those were the main ingredients to this project. So I did want to show y'all though, I try not to buy a lot of paper pads, but there is this one paper pad, and if you watch my videos, you'll know I pull stuff from it a lot. And it is Theodosia Square from Paper Studio. It's a Hobby Lobby. And y'all, it just has some of the most wonderful, I'm going to flip through it a second. I think all of the pattern paper from these bunnies were cut from this pad. And I'll just flip through it real quick. It just has so many vintage, and even like on this, even though it's a large pattern, there's smaller things in it that if you cut out, you can get really great vintage looking papers from. Like this is a piece of doily. So many just really, really, really pretty papers in this. So this is one of my go-to pads that I use all the time. See, look at all these fabulous old papers. So I did want to mention that if you're looking for a paper pad that just has a lot of pretty soft colors for paper piecing or for accents for your designs. I just think this one has a, I don't know, just kind of a old-timey look to it. So I wanted to mention that. And I think this one is still available. So that is what I used for most of the pattern paper in this set. So that's it, y'all. That is the total of the products I used and what went into making these. And this is just truly one of those, y'all. I've said it before, sometimes when I do little dresses and stuff for some of my creations, I feel like I'm doing paper dolls from when I was a child, and playing dress up and colors and just doing all kinds of patterns and laces. And I think this is a fun escape for me. So I hope y'all enjoyed this one. I hope this inspires y'all to create some for spring, and I will see y'all soon. Thanks for watching.